I mostly read public domain books here on Glenn Reads Books to You, and they were written a long time ago, so they're usually racist, or sexist, or bigoted, but in there somewhere is a story, and that's why those stories are famous. Other times, I read works from independent authors, and they're delightfully not racist, but they might have adult language or adult situations, like, making sex. So that's your warning, but I'm sure you're grown up enough to handle it. Don't write to me complaining. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I can't wait to sleep like a sleepy little chinchilla, all curled up in my bed and it's all soft and warm. Oh, son of a... All right, go on, take a seat, you little idiot. I was just talking about how I'm sleepy, but before I get into that, welcome to the Glenn Reads Gothic Books to You mansion. It's a fun little bit where I pretend to live in a mansion and not just recording in my basement. This is where I read the hottest public domain books and short stories. And this week, we're going to continue to read, for the millionth time, Jane Eyre, an autobiography by Charlotte Brontë. Want to learn a little bit about the other? I hope so. I stole this from Wikipedia. Charlotte Brontë was born April 21st, 1816, and died March 31st, 1855, at the age of 38, from the family drinking water that flowed through the corpses in a nearby graveyard. Was an English novelist and poet, and was the elder sister of Emily Anne Branwell Brontë. Want to hear some fun facts? No, I got none. This book's been going on for so long that I've run out of fun facts. I can't find... I still have a cold. I can't find anything new or exciting. So I'll tell you all about... What's that? I'll tell you all about my... What? You want to sleep over? No. Don't you have a family? No, you can't sleep over. What's that? Oh, your house is getting fumigated. Well, then why can't your family take you... What's that? They can't afford a hotel with a room just for you? Why? Oh, you snore. Oh, your CPAP's broken. Oh, your CPAP's broken and no one wants to sleep in the same area as you. Oh, I get it. Well, lucky for you, I live in a mansion. Why don't I ask my servants to make up the room for you? Yeah, that's right. I finally got servants. I've been living alone in this mansion for such a long time that I finally decided to call on servants. Bert, we live in a gig economy where now you don't have to actually have like people dedicated to serving a house like it's a frickin' 1860s. Now you can just call up these cats. Come here. Yeah, that's right. Hello. Yeah, okay. Can you make up a room for my friend here? Very far away from me, like on the other wing of the mansion. I'd appreciate... What's that? No, they won't be requiring any cheats. Just make up a room for them. Open up one of the dusty rooms, and just like in Jane Eyre, open up a window to try to get some of the mold out. And then just let them sleep there. Don't bring up my divorce in front of them. Don't bring up my divorce in front of them. Just go make up the room. Don't get mad. Okay, well, now they're going to go make up the room for you. And what did I do recently? Well, I had to go to my kids' graduation, my oldest kid in college, go to their graduation, and since I got no one to watch the dog, I still have a cold, I have no one to watch the dog. Can I put the dog in a kennel? Normal dogs can put in a kennel. My dog's got PTSD from the previous owners, which I don't know anything about, and he's so old and cute, I can't do that to him. So I got someone to watch him while my wife and I were up for 21 hours, flying out at 3 in the morning, and then finally doing the thing with the graduation and coming back, and then we came home and we got the dog to bed. And so that's what we do for the love of the dog. But with the clock striking, that means I'm supposed to shut up and read this story to you. Well, there you go. Now we're down here in the library. Why don't you get yourself settled and I can read to you. Are you parched? Do you want anything to drink? Let me call the cats. Hold on one second. There we go. Yeah, just keep it going. I like pissing them off. Here we go. Yep. Oh, you're angry. Why don't my friend here, my overnight guest, and I have some tea? Can you get us some tea? That'd be nice if you could bring back some tea. Go on, get out of here. Go on, get. Ugh. You're the worst. Okay, why don't we dive into the story? Okay, where do we leave off? Chapter 17? A week passed, and no news arrived of Mr. Rochester's 10 days, and still he did not come. Mrs. Fairfax said that she would not be surprised if he were to go straight from Leeds to London, and thence to the continent, and not show his face again at Thornfield for a year to come. He had not unfrequently quitted in a manner quite as abrupt and unexpected. When I heard this, I was beginning to feel a strange chill and failing at my heart. I was actually permitting myself to experience a sickening sense of disappointment, But rallying my wits and recollecting my principles, I at once called my sensations to order, and it was wonderful how I got over the temporary blunder. How I cleared up the mistake of supposing Mr. Rochester's movements a matter in which I had any cause to take a vital interest. Not that I humbled myself by a slavish notion of inferiority. On the contrary, I just said, you have nothing to do with the Master Thornfield. Further, this is where she talks to herself again. Lord. Further than to receive a salary that gives you for teaching his protege, and to be grateful for such respectful and kind treatment as, if you do your duty, you have a right to expect at his hands. Be sure that this is the only tie he seriously acknowledges between you and him, so don't make him the object of your fine feelings, your raptures, your agonies, and so forth. He is not of your order. Keep to your caste, and be too self-respecting to lavish the love of the whole heart, soul, and strength where such a gift is not wanted and would not be despised. I went on my day's business tranquilly, but never and anon vague suggestions kept wandering across my brain of reasons why I should quit Thornfield. And I had kept involuntarily framing advertisements and pondering conjectures about new situations. These thoughts I did not think to check. They might germinate and bear fruit if they could. Mr. Rochester had been absent upwards of a fortnight when the post brought Miss Fairfax a letter. It's from the master, said she, and she looked at the direction. Now I suppose we shall know whether we expect his return or not. And while she broke the seal and perused the document, I went on taking my coffee. We were at breakfast, and it was hot, and I attributed to that circumstance a fiery glow which suddenly rose to my face. Why my hand shook, and why I involuntarily split half the contents of my cup into my saucer, I did not choose to consider. Well, I sometimes think we are too quiet. But we run a chance of being busy enough now, for a little while at least, said Mrs. Fairfax, still holding a note before her spectacles, ere I permitted myself to request an explanation. I tied the string of Adele's pinafore, which happened to be loose, having helped her also, I'm still sick, to another bun, and refilled her mug with milk. I said nonchalantly, Mr. Rochester is not likely to return soon, I suppose. Indeed he is, in 3 days, he says. That'll be, next Thursday. And not alone either. I don't know how many of the fine people at the Lees are coming with them. He sends directions for all the best bedrooms to be prepared, and the library and drawing rooms are to be cleaned out. And I am to get more kitchen hands from the George Inn at Millicote, and from wherever else I can. And the ladies will bring their maids, and the gentlemen their valets, so that we shall have a full house of it. And Miss Fairfax swallowed her breakfast and hastened away to commence operations. Burp, the 3 days were, as she had foretold, busy enough. Burp, I had thought all the rooms at Thornfield beautifully clean and well arranged. But it appears I was mistaken. 3 women were got to hell. And such scrubbing, such brushing, such washing of paint and beating of carpets, such taking down and putting up of pictures, and such polishing of mirrors and lustres, such lighting of fires in bedrooms, such airing of sheets and feather beds on hearths, I never beheld either before or since. Adele ran quite wild in the midst of it. The preparations for company and the prospect of their arrival seemed to throw her into ecstasies. She would have Sophie to look over all of her toilettes, as she called frocks, to furbish any of her passés, that's French, and to Eyre and arrange the new. For herself, she did nothing but caper about in the front chambers, jump on and off the bedsteads, and lie on the mattresses, and piled up bolsters and pillows for the enormous fires roaring in the chimneys, and from school duties she was exonerated. Miss Fairfax had pressed me into her service, and I was all day in the storeroom, helping, or hindering, her and the cook, learning to make custards, and cheesecakes, and French pastry, to truss game, and garnish dessert dishes. Dessert dishes. It could be either one. The party were expected to arrive on Thursday afternoon, in time for dinner at 6. During the intervening period, I had no time to nurse chimeras, and I believe I was as active and gay as anybody, Adele accepted. Still, now and then I received a damping check to my cheerfulness, and was, in spite of myself, thrown back on the region of doubts and portents, and dark conjectures. This was when I chanced to see the third-story staircase door, which of late had always been kept locked, open slowly and give passage to the form of Grace Poole, in prim cap, white apron, and a handkerchief. When I watched her glide along the gallery, with her quiet tread muffled in a list slipper, when I saw her look... Oh, God, here comes one more. Yeah? Uh-huh. Can you do me a favor? Can you get out of here? Nope. Our guest doesn't need to know that I haven't paid my mortgage yet. Just move on. Get the hell out of here. Go on, get. Where'd I leave off? Handkerchief when I watched her glide along the gallery and quiet tread above their quiet tread muffled in a list slipper. When I saw her look into the bustling, topsy-turvy bedrooms, just to say a word, perhaps, to the chairwoman about the proper way to polish a grate, or clean a marble mantelpiece, or to take stains from papered walls, and to pass on. She would thus descend to the kitchen once a day, eat her dinner, smoke a moderate pipe on the hearth, and go back carrying her pot and porter with her, for her private solace in her own gloomy upper haunt. Only 1 hour in the 24 did she pass with her fellow servants below, and all the rest of her time was spent in some low-ceiled oaken chamber of the second story. There she sat and sewed, and probably laughed drearily to herself, as companionless as a prisoner in his dungeon. The strangest thing of it all was that not a soul in the house, except for me, noticed her habits or seemed to marvel at them. No one discussed her position or employment. No one pitied her solitude or isolation. I once, indeed, overheard part of the dialogue between Leah and one of the chairwomen, of which Grace formed the subject. Leah had been saying something I had not caught, and the chairwoman remarked, "Hey, she gets good wages, I guess." "Yes," said Leah. "I wish I had as good. Not that mine are to complain of. There's no stinginess at Thornfield, but they're not one of the fifth of the sum Miss Poole receives. And she is laying by. Oh, she goes every quarter to the bank at Millicote, and I should not wonder, but she has saved enough to keep her independent if she liked to leave. But I suppose she got used to the place, and then she's not 40 yet, and strong and able for anything. It is too soon for her to give up business." "She's a good hand, I dare say," said the chairwoman. She understands what she has to do. Nobody better," rejoined Leah significantly. "And it is not everyone could fill her shoes. Not for all the money she gets." "That it is not," was the reply. "I wonder whether the master," the chairwoman is going on. But here Leah turned and perceived me, and instantly gave her companion a nudge. "Doesn't she know?" I heard the woman whisper. Leah shook her head, and the conversation was, of course, dropped. All I had gathered from it amounted to this, that there was a mystery at Thornfield, and that from participation in that mystery, I was purposely excluded. Thursday came. All work had been completed. The previous evening, carpets were laid down, bed hangings festooned, radiant white counterpanes spread, toilet tables arranged, first rubbed, flowers piled in vases. Both chambers and saloons looked as fresh and as bright as the hands could make them. The hall, too, was scoured, and the great carved clock, as well as the steps and banisters and staircase, were polished to the brightness of glass. In the dining room, a sideboard flashed resplendent with plate. In the drawing room and boudoir, vases and exotics bloomed on all sides. Afternoon arrived, and Miss Fairfax assumed that her best black satin gown, her gloves, and her gold watch, for it was her part to receive the company, to conduct the ladies to their rooms, etc. Adele, too, would be dressed, though I thought she had little chance of being introduced to the party that day at least. However, to please her, I allowed Sophie to apparel her in one of her short, full muslin frocks. For myself, I had no need to make any change. I should not be called upon to quit my sanctum of the schoolroom. For a sanctum, it was now to become, to me, quote, a very pleasant refuge in time of trouble, unquote. It had been a mild, serene spring day. One of those days which towards the ends of March or the beginning of April rise shining over the earth as heralds of summer. It was drawing to an end now, but the evening was even warm. And I said, oh God, one's coming in. Yeah, what do you need? You going to dust that ashtray? Nobody smokes in here. There's nothing in the ash. Okay, can you go? Okay, goodbye. And I sat at work at the school with the window open. It gets late, said Miss Fairfax, entering the rustling state. Burp. I'm glad I ordered dinner an hour after time Mr. Rochester mentioned. For it's past 6 now, and I have sent John down to the gates to see if there is anything on the road. One can see a long way from thence in the direction of Millicote. She went to the window. Here he is, said she. Well, John, leaning out. Any news? They're coming, ma'am, was the answer. They'll be here in 10 minutes. Adele flew to the window, and I followed. Take care to stand on one side, so that, screened by the curtain, I could see without being seen. 10 minutes, John had given seemed very long, but at last the wheels were heard. For equestrians, that's horse. Just in case you don't know, equestrian is horse. It's a weird word. Nobody really says it anymore, but it means horse. 4 equestrians galloped up the drive, and after them came 2 open carriages. Fluttering veils and waving plumes filled with the vehicles. 2 of the cavaliers were young, dashing-looking gentlemen. The third was Mr. Rochester, and on his black horse, Mesor, pilot bounding before him. At his side rode a lady, and he and she were the first of the party. Oh, her purple riding habit almost swept the ground. Her veil streamed long on the breeze, mingling with its transparent folds, and gleaming through them shone rich raven ringlets. Miss Ingram! Exclaimed Mrs. Fairfax, and away she hurried to her post below. The cavalcade, following the sweep of the drive, quickly turned the angle of the house, and I lost sight of it. Adele now petitioned to go down, but I took her on my knee and gave her to understand that she must not, on any account, think of venturing in sight of the ladies, either now or at any other time, unless expressly sent for, that Mr. Rochester would be very angry, etc. Some natural tears were shed, in quotes, on being told this, but as I began to look very grave, she consented at last to wipe them. A joyous stir was now audible in the hall. Gentlemen's deep tones and ladies' silvery accents blent harmoniously together, and distinguishable above all, though not loud, was the sonorous voice of the master of Thornfield Hall, welcoming his fair and gallant guests under his roof. And then light steps ascended the stairs, and there was a tripping through the gallery and a soft, cheerful laugh, and then opening the closing doors, and for a time, a hush. I imagine, as they all made out. Ellie's changant de toilettes, said Adele, who, listening attentively, had followed every movement, and she sighed. Chers maman, she said, quand il y avait du monde, je les sauvage part out au salon et à leurs chambers, sauvant je regardis les femmes de chambre, coiffier et habiller les dames et siriat et si amusement comme si la en apprend. Don't you feel hungry, Adele? Mais oui, mademoiselle. Voila. 5 ou 6 hairs que nous n'avons pas mangé. Well, now, the ladies are in their rooms, and I will venture down and get you something to eat. And issuing from my asylum, with precaution, I saw the back stairs, which conducted directly to the kitchen. All that region was fire and commotion. The soup, I'm still sick, and fish were in the last stage of projection, and the cook hung over her crucibles in a frame of mind and body threatening spontaneous combustion. And in the servants' hall, 2 coachmen and 3 gentlemen stood or sat round the fire, and Abigail's, I suppose, were upstairs with their mistresses, and the new servants that had been hired from Millicote were bustling about everywhere. Threading the chaos, I at last reached the larder. And there I took possession of the cold chicken, and a roll of bread, and some tarts, and a plate or 2, and a knife and a fork, and with this booty I made a hasty retreat. I had regained the gallery, and was just shutting the back door behind me when an accelerated hum warned me that the ladies were about to issue from their chambers. And I cannot proceed to the schoolroom without passing some of their doors. I'm running the risk of being surprised with my cargo of véhiculetage. I stood still at this end, which, being windowless, was dark. Quite dark now, for the sun was set and twilight was gathering. Well, presently the chambers gave up their fair tenants, one after another. Each came out gaily and airily, with dress that gleamed lustreless through the dark. For a moment they stood grouped together at the other extremity of the gallery, conversing in a key of sweet subdued vivacity, and then they descended on the staircase almost as noiselessly as a bright mist rolls down the hill. All their collective appearance had left on me an impression of high-born elegance, such as I had never seen before. I found Adele peeping through the schoolroom door, which the held ajar. What beautiful ladies, cried she in English. Finally. And I wish I might go to them. Do you think Mr. Rochester will send for us by and by after dinner? No, indeed I don't. Mr. Rochester has something else to think about. Never mind the ladies tonight. Perhaps you will see them tomorrow. Here's your dinner. And she was really hungry. So the chicken and the tarts served to divert her attention for a time. It was, I secured the forage. For both she, I, and Sophie, whom it conveyed a share of our repast, would have run a chance of getting no dinner at all. Everyone downstairs was too much engaged to think of us, and the dessert was not carried out until after 9. And at 10, footmen were still running to and fro with trays and coffee cups. God, I allowed Adele to sit up much later than usual, for she declared that she could not possibly go to sleep while the doors kept opening and shutting below, and people bustling about. Besides, she added, a message might possibly come from Mr. Rochester when she was undressed. Et alors quel damage! I told her stories as long as she would listen to them, and then for a change I took her out into the gallery. The hall lamp was now lit, and it amused her to look over the balustrade and watch the servants pass backwards and forwards. And when the evening was far advanced, a sound of music issued from the drawing-room, whither the piano had been removed. Adele and I sat down on the top step of the stairs to listen. Presently, a voice blent with the rich tones of the instrument, and it was a lady who sang. Very sweet her notes were. And the solo over, a duet followed, and then a glee. A joyous conversational murmur filled the intervals, and I listened long. Suddenly I discovered that my ear was wholly intent on analyzing the mingled sounds and trying to discriminate against the confusion of accents, those of Mr. Rochester, and when it caught them, and when it soon did, it found a further task in framing the tones and rendered by distance inarticulate into words. The clock struck 11, and I looked at Adele, whose head leant against my shoulder, whose eyes were waxing heavy, so I took her up in my arms and carried her off to bed. And it was near 1 before the gentlemen and ladies sought their chambers. The next day was as fine as its predecessor. It was devoted by the party of an excursion to some site in the neighborhood. They set out early in the forenoon, on some horseback and the rest in carriages. I witnessed both the departure and the return. Miss Ingram, as before, was the only lady equestrian, and as before, Mr. Rochester galloped at her side, and two rode in a little apart from the rest. And I pointed out the circumstance of Miss Fairfax, who was standing at the window with me. I said it was not likely they should think of being married, said I. But you see, Mr. Rochester evidently prefers her to any of the other ladies. Yes, I dare say. No doubt he admires her. And she him, I added. Look how he leans her head towards him as if she were conversing confidentially. Oh, I wish I could see her face. I have never had a glimpse of it yet. Oh, you will see in the evening, answered Miss Fairfax. I happened to remark to Mr. Rochester how much Adele wished to be introduced to the ladies, and he said, oh, let her come into the drawing room after dinner and request Miss Eyre to accompany her. Yes, he said that from a mere politeness. I need not go, I'm sure, I answered. Well, I observed to him that as you were unused to company, I did not think you would like appearing before so gay a party, all strangers, and he replied in his quick way, nonsense. If she objects, tell her it's my particular wish, and if she resists, say I shall come and fetch her in case of contumacy. For people that don't know the English language as well as I do, that's contumacy. It's a stubborn refusal to obey and comply with authority. I will not give him that trouble, I answered. I will go, if no better may be, but I don't like it. Shall you be there, Miss Fairfax? No, I pleaded off and admitted my plea. I will tell you how to manage so as to avoid the embarrassment of making a formal entrance, which is the most disagreeable part of the business. You must go into the drawing room while it's empty, before the ladies leave the dinner table. Choose your seat in any quiet nook you like. You need not stay long after the gentlemen come in, unless you please. Let Mr. Rochester see that you are there, and then slip away. Nobody will notice you. Will these people remain long, do you think? Perhaps, 2 or 3 weeks. Certainly not more after the Easter recess. Sir George Lynn, who was lately elected member for Millicote, will have to go up to town to take his seat. I dare say Mr. Rochester will accompany him. It surprises me that he has already made so protracted a stay at Thornfield. God, this chapter goes on forever. Oh, thank God. You're here with the tea. It took you 27 minutes, but all right, fine. You're finally here with the tea. Go on. Well, put it down. Yeah, put it down. Pour it. Pour it for the guest. Thank you. Oh, my God, this is the worst. Yeah, can you pour one for me, too? Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm trying to finish this goddamn story. We're not even halfway through this chapter yet. It's the longest chapter on Earth. Can you get the hell out now? Don't get mad. Come on. Get the hell out of here. I don't care. Christ. All right. It was with some trepidation that I perceived the hour approach when I was to repair with my charge to the drawing room. Adele had been in a state of ecstasy all day after hearing that she was to be presented to the ladies in the evening, and it was not until Sophie commenced the operation of dressing her that she sobered down. What does sober down mean? Then the importance of the process quickly steadied her, and by the time that she had her curls arranged in a well-smoothed drooping clusters, her pink satin frock put on, her long sash tied, and her lace mittens adjusted, she looked as grave as any judge. No need to warn her not to disarrange her attire. When she was dressed, she sat demurely down in her little chair, taking care previously to lift up the satin skirt for fear she should crease it, and assured me that she would not stir thence till I was ready. This I quickly was. My best dress, the silver gray one, I purchased Miss Temple's wedding and then never worn since, was soon put on. My hair was soon smoothed. My sole ornament, the pearl brooch, soon assumed. We descended. Fortunately, Now there's another entrance to the drawing room, then that through the saloon where they were all seated at dinner. We found the apartment vacant, a large fire burning silently at the marble hearth, and wax candles shining in the bright solitude, amid the exquisite flowers with which the tables were adorned. The crimson curtain hung before the arch, slight as was the separation this drapery formed from the party in the adjoining saloon. They spoke in so low a key that nothing of their conversation could be distinguished beyond a soothing murmur. Adele, who appeared to still be under the influence of a most solemnizing impression, sat down without a word, I'm surprised she's not speaking French, on the footstool. I pointed out to her. I retired to a window seat and, taking a book from a table nearby, endeavored to read. Adele brought her stool to my feet. Ere long, she touched my knee. What is it, Adele? SCQG nimpuis pas prendi un salut dices fleurs magnifiques, mademoiselle, selmuent pour complour ma toilette. Oh, you think too much of your toilet, Adele. But you have a flower. And I took a rose from the vase and fastened it to her sash. Well, she sighed a sigh of ineffable satisfaction, and as if her cup of happiness were now full, I turned my face away to conceal a smile I could not suppress. There was something ludicrous as well as painful in the little Parisienne's earnest and innate devotion to the matters of dress. A soft sound of rising now became audible. The curtain was swept back from the arch, though it appeared the dining room with its lit luster pouring down light upon silver and glass of a magnificent dessert service, covering a long table. A band of ladies stood in the opening. They entered, and the curtain fell behind them. There were but 8. Yet, somehow, as they flocked in, they gave the impression of a much larger number. Some of them were very tall. Many were dressed in white, and all had a sweeping amplitude of array that seemed to magnify their persons as a mist magnifies the moon. And I rose and curtsied to them. One or two bent their heads in return, but the others only stared at me. They dispersed about the room, reminding me by the lightness and the buoyancy of their movements of a flock of white plummy birds. Some of them threw themselves in half-reclining positions on the sofas and ottomans. Some bent over the tables and examined the flowers and the books, and the rest gathered in a group or around the fire. All talked in a low but clear tone which seemed habitual to them. I knew their names afterwards, as may well mention them now. First, there was Miss Ashton, nice name, and 2 of her daughters. She had evidently been a handsome woman, as well as preserved still. And of her daughters, the eldest, Amy, was rather little, naive and childlike in face and manner, and piquant in form. Her white muslin dress and her blue sash became her as well. The second, Louisa, nice name, was taller and more elegant in figure, with a pretty face. Of that order, the French term, menoise chiffon. Both sisters were fair as the lilies. Lady Lynn was a large and stout personage, about, 40, very erect, very haughty looking, richly dressed in a satin robe and changeful sheen. Her dark hair shone glossily under the shade of an azure plume. And within the circlet of a band of gems, Miss Colonel Dent was less showy, but, as I thought, more ladylike. She had a slight figure. A pale, gentle face, and fair hair. Her black satin dress, her scarf of rich foreign lace, and her pearl ornaments pleased me better than the rainbow radiance of the titled dame. Why don't we, are you done with your tea? Why don't we take a break? And we can show you to your room that you'll be staying at tonight. I've had the cats make it up for you. I've had them air out your room and take all the sheets off the furniture and the bed and everything. And I mean, the sheets were cleaned like 20 years ago. They're still clean. They're not unclean. Nothing makes them unclean if they haven't been touched for this long. It's fine. So why don't we go to your room, and I will tell you about the latest upcoming books from Pagan Rabbit House Books. Oh, here you come. I tricked you. You're sleeping in the basement. I've had these cats working for the last, 34 minutes, trying to get the room made up for you by literally hauling a bed down and getting the bed ready in this wet basement. I made sure to ask them, please put water drops that can land right on what might be the forehead, if you can, and make sure the pillows are real wet. One of them is playing the guitar for you underneath that naked light bulb, as I sit here underneath this naked light bulb and just watch them assemble your bedroom for you. I'm still sick. Why don't I let you know about the latest upcoming book from Penguin Random House, which is Star Wars Out of the Darkness by Alex Segura, illustrated by Phil Noto and Pete Woods and Luke Ross. Cover design or artwork? Okay, by Phil Noto. You want to learn a little about it? Yeah, sure you do. A new era of Star Wars storytelling of Marvel Comics begins, now delving into the post-return of the Jedi era and the birth of the New Republic! Exclamation point. While the New Republic begins to build alliances, pirates have been hitting supply routes, creating fresh turmoil in the galaxy. Now Luke Skywalker must go to the depths of the underworld to find out who is behind the deadly raids. Debuting the Nagi pirates, plus a whole host of villains that threaten Luke, Leia, Han Solo, and the rest of the great heroes of Star Wars, in all caps, exclamation point, collecting, exclamation point, Star Wars 2025, numbers 1 through 10, and material for the free comic book day 2025 Star Wars number 1. I don't care. Anyways, that's Star Wars Out of the Darkness by Alex Segura. Unfortunately for Phil Noto, it says cover design or artwork because they can't decide if it's art or not by Phil. Poor guy. It's paperback for $29.99. Available on May 12th, 2026 from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Bookshop.org, Hudson Booksellers, Powell's Target, and Walmart. Well, now you can see what kind of room you're staying in tonight, turd. Why don't we go back upstairs and finish reading the longest chapter in the world? Oh, good. You made it back to the library and, nope. Get out. I swear to God, get the hell out of here. I will slice your throat. Get out of here. Go on, get. All right, go on. Let's get back to the story. But the three most distinguished, partly perhaps because the tallest figures of the band were the Dowager Lady Ingram and her daughters, Blanche and Mary. Oh, they were all three the loftiest stature of women. The dowager might be between, 40 and 50. Her shape is still fine. Her hair, by candlelight at least, was still black. Her teeth, too, this is weird, were still apparently perfect. Lucky for her. Who looks at someone's teeth and be like, apparently perfect. Most people would have termed her a splendid woman of her age. And so she was, no doubt physically speaking, but then there was an expression of almost insupportable haughtiness in her bearing and countenance. She had Roman features and a double chin. What's Roman features? Is it like more giant forehead and long noses? Disappearing into a throat, like a pillar. These features appeared to be not only inflated and darkened, but even furrowed with pride. And the chin was sustained by the same principle, in a position of almost preternatural erectness. She had, likewise, a fierce and hard eye. It reminded me of, Mrs. Reeds. She mouthed her words in speaking. Her voice was deep. The inflections, very pompous, very dogmatical, very intolerable. In short, a crimson velvet robe and a shawl turban of some gold-wrought Indian fabric invested her, I suppose she thought, with a truly imperial dignity. Blanche and Mary were of equal stature, straight and tall as poplars. Mary was too slim for her height, but Blanche was molded like a Dion. And for people that don't know what a Dion is, which I'm completely familiar with, it's an early Italian goddess associated with hunting, virginity, and in later literature with the moon. So that's, for the rest of you ignorant people, that's what that means. But I was completely already familiar with it. I regarded her, of course, with special interest. First, I wished to see whether her appearance accorded with Mrs. Fairfax's description. Secondly, whether it all resembled the fancy miniature I had painted out of her. And thirdly, weirdo painting miniatures. And thirdly, it will out, whether it were such as I should fancy likely to suit Mr. Rochester's taste. As far as a person went, she answered point for point, both to my picture and Mrs. Fairfax's description. The noble bust, the sloping shoulders. Oh, the graceful neck, the dark eyes. Oh, the black ringlets were all there. But her face, ? Her face was like her mother's. A youthful, unfurrowed likeness. The same low brow, the same high features. What does that mean? The low brow. So I'm guessing the eyebrows are like real low down on the face, like covering the eyes almost. The high features, I don't know what that means. The same pride. It was not, however, so saturated. So with the high features, what does that mean? Like your cheekbones are up against your eyes, your brow is real, like these eyes are being crushed by the face. Like, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. It was not, however, so saturated in pride. She laughed continually. Oh, her laugh was satirical, and so was the habitual expression of her arched and haughty lip. Genius, it is said to be self-conscious. I cannot tell whether Miss Ingram was a genius, but she was self-conscious, remarkably self-conscious indeed. Oh, she entered into a discourse on botany with the gentle Mrs. Dent. It had seemed Mrs. Dent had not studied that science, though, as she had said, she liked flowers, especially, quote, wild ones. Miss Ingram had, and she ran over its vocabulary with an air. I presently perceived she was, what is vernacularly termed, trailing Miss Dent, that is, playing on her ignorance. Her trail, in italics, might be clever, but it was decidedly not good-natured. She played. Oh, her execution was brilliant. She sang. Oh, her voice was fine. And she talked French, apart from her mama, again with the mamas, and she talked it well, with fluency and with a good accent. Mary had a milder and more open countenance than Blanche, softer features too, and a skin some shades fairer. Miss Ingram was as dark as a Spaniard, in parentheses. Okay, well, all right. But Mary was deficient in life. Her face lacked expression, her eyes luster. She had nothing to say, and having once taken her seat, remained fixed, like a statue, in its niche. Oh, the sisters were both attired in spotless white. And did I now think Miss Ingram such a choice as Mr. Rochester was likely to make? Oh, I could not tell, and I did not know his taste in female beauty. If he liked the majestic, oh, she was the very type of majesty, and then she was accomplished, sprightly. Most gentlemen would admire her, I thought, and that he did admire her. I already seemed to have obtained proof. To remove the last shade of doubt, it remained but to see them together. You are not to suppose, reader, that Adele has all this time been sitting motionless on the stool at my feet. No. When the ladies entered, she rose, advanced to meet them, and made a stately reverence, and said with gravity, more French, Bonjour, mesdames. And Miss Ingram had looked down at her with a mocking air and exclaimed, Oh, hello, pop it. Lady Lynn had remarked, Oh, it's Miss Rochester's ward, I suppose, a little French girl, he was speaking of. Miss Dent had kindly taken her hand and given her a kiss. And Amy and Louisa Ashton had cried out simultaneously, Oh, what a lovely child. And then when they had called her to a sofa, when they now sat ensconced between them, chattering alternately in French and broken English, absorbing not only the lady's attention, but that of Miss Ashton and the Lady Lynn, and getting spoilt to her heart's content. At last, coffee is brought in. and the gentlemen were summoned, and I sit in the shade. If any shade there be in this brilliantly lit apartment, the window curtain half hides me. Again the arch yawns, they come. The collective appearance of the gentlemen, like that of the ladies, is very imposing, and they are all consumed in black. Most of them are tall, some young. Henry and Frederick Lynn are very dashing, sparks indeed, and Colonel Dent is a fine soldierly man. Mr. Eshton, the magistrate of the district, is gentlemanlike. Oh, his hair is quite white, his eyebrows and whiskers still dark, which gives him something of the appearance of a Pierre Noble de Theatre. Lord Ingram, like his sisters, is very tall. Like them also, he's handsome. But he shares Mary's apathetic and listless look. He seems to have more length of limb than veracity of blood and vigor of brain. So many insults. Also, the word handsome being used for women and men makes me think that it's an insult applied to women, possibly. Like it is now. If you call a woman handsome now, that's just an insult. But I can't tell if back then when this book was written that's not an insult. I can't tell. But now she's lumping the handsome women with the handsome men, so I have no idea. Where is Miss Rochester? Well, he comes in at last. I'm not looking at the arch, yet I see him enter. I'm still sick. I try to concentrate my attention on those netting needles, on the meshes that I am forming. I wish to think only of the work I have in my hands, to see only the silver beads and the silk threads that lie in my lap, whereas I distinctly behold his figure, and I inevitably recall the moment when I last saw it, just after I rendered him, what he deemed an essential service, and he, holding my hand and looking down on my face, surveyed me with eyes that revealed a heart full of eager and overflow, in whose emotions I had a part. How near I had approached him at the moment! Exclamation point. What had occurred since calculated to change his and my relative positions? Yet now, how distant, how far estranged we were. Oh, so far estranged that I did not expect him to come and speak to me, but I did not wonder. Burp, when without looking at me, he took a seat at the other side of the room, began conversing with some of the ladies. No sooner did I see that his attention was riveted on them, and that I might gaze without being observed, then my eyes were drawn involuntarily to his face. His long face, with his long nose and his full lips and his giant forehead. I could not keep their lids under control. Oh, they would rise. And the irids would fix, IRIDS. For people that don't know what that word means, I'll tell you. It's a flat-colored ring-shaped membrane behind the cornea of the eye with the adjustable circular opening pupil in the center. So, just to let you know, you're used to iris, but us culture people know that it's irids with a D. I looked and had an acute pleasure in looking. A precious yet poignant pleasure, pure gold, with the steely point of agony. A pleasure like what the thirst-pressing man might feel who knows the well to the he's crept, he's poisoned, he stoops, he drinks divine draughts, nevertheless. And more true is it that beauty is in the eye of the gazer, my master's colorless olive face, square, massive brow, broad and jetty eyebrows, deep eyes, strong features, firm, grim mouth, all energy, decision, will. He sounds disgusting. Were not beautiful according to the rule, but they were more beautiful to me than they were full of interest and influence that quite mastered me. That's a comma after mastered me, then an M dash. That took my feelings from my own power and fettered them in his. I had not intended to love him, semicolon. The reader knows I had wrought hard to expatriate from my soul the germs of love that were detected. And now, at the first renewed view of him, they spontaneously arrived, green and strong. Oh, he made me love him without looking at me, and I compared him with his guests. What was the gallant grace of the Lynns, the languid elegance of Lord Ingram? Even the military distraction of Colonel Dent, contrasted with the look of native pith and genuine power. I had no sympathy in their appearance, their expression, yet I could imagine most observers would call them attractive, handsome, imposing, while they would pronounce Mr. Rochester at once harsh-featured and melancholy-looking. Oh, I saw them smile. Laugh, it was nothing. The light of the candles had as much soul in it as their smile. The twinkle of the bell as much significance as their laugh. I saw Mr. Rochester's smile. His stern features softened. Oh, God damn it. Nope. No, we don't need anything. Just get his bed ready, get his room ready, and make sure his pillows are wet. Okay, thank you. Okay, goodbye. I'm never hiring these people again. There's a company that runs Merry Maids for cleaning your house. And I said, hey, what if I have a guest? Can I call on you real quick? And they're like, yeah, we got cats. And now we have to deal with this bullshit. Okay, so back to the story. His eye grew both brilliant and gentle. Its ray both searching and sweet. He was talking at the moment to Louisa and Amy Ashton. Jesus, this cat won't fucking leave. The thing is, we're kind of trapped here until the cat leaves. I'm paying them, but also there's like 50 cats in the house. You can't control all of them. He was talking about to Louisa and Amy. I wanted to see them receive with calm that look which seemed to be so penetrating. I expected their eyes to fall, their color to rise. Just pretend like he's not in the room. To rise under it. Yet I was glad when I found they were in no sense moved. He is not to them what he is to me, I thought. He is not of their kind. I believe he is of mine. Just pretend like the cat's not there. I am sure he is. I feel akin to him, and I understand the language, the countenance, and the movements. This is kind of like if you get like a gardener for your property, and then the gardener's like digging through your underwear, and all you can do is just kind of hope they go away, and then just lock all the doors. Well, we got to wait right now for this cat to get the fuck out of the room. You can leave now. You can leave. I understand the language of his countenance and his movements, though rank and wealth sever us widely. I have something in my brain, in my heart, in my blood, just sitting there, just staring at us and growling, in my nerves, that assimilates me mentally to him. Did I say a few days since that I had nothing to do? Can you go get us a soda? To receive the salary at his hands? Did I forbid myself to think of him in any other light than as a paymaster? Blasphemy against nature. Every good, true, vigorous feeling I have gathers impulsively around him, and I know I must conceal my sentiments. I must smother hope. I must remember that he cannot care so much for me. For when I say that I am... If I say I'm of his kind, I do not mean that I have his force to influence, his spell to attract. I mean only that I have certain tastes and feelings in common with him. I must then repeat continually that we are forever sundered, and yet, while I breathe and think, I must love him. If you want to sit and listen to the story, stop making so much goddamn noise, or go get us a soda. Go, get us a soda. Oh, for Christ's sake. Coffee is handed. The ladies, since the gentlemen entered, have become lively as larks. Conversation waxes brisk and merry. Colonel Dent and Mr. Ashton argue on politics. Their wives listen. Period. The two proud dowagers, Lady Lynn and Lady Ingram, confabulate together. Sir George, whom, by the by, I have forgotten to describe, a very big and very fresh-looking country gentleman, stands before the sofa, coffee cup in hand, and occasionally puts in a word. Mr. Frederick Lynn has taken a seat beside Mary Ingram and is showing her the engravings of a splendid volume. She looks, smiles now and then, but apparently says little. The tall and phlegmatic Lord Ingram leans with folded arms on a chair back, and lively Emily Ashton. Can you frickin' leave? Oh my God, you're ruining the story. You're ruining a perfectly written story. Seriously. I'm going to report you to the Merry Maids people that referred you to me. Oh, for Christ's sake. Just get out. Just get out. Get out of my room. Go on, get. Mr. Rochester, Henry Lynn has taken possession of the ottoman at the feet of Louisa, whatever. Adele shares it with him, and he's trying to talk French with her. But Louisa laughs at his blunders. With whom will Blanche Ingram pair? She is standing alone at the table, bending gracefully over an album. And she seems waiting to be sought. But she will not wait too long. She herself selects a mate. Mr. Rochester, having quitted the Eshtons, stands on the hearth as solitary as she stands at the table, and she confronts him, taking her station on the opposite side of the mantelpiece. Mr. Rochester, I thought you were not fond of children. Nor am I. That way, what induced you to take such a change, such a little doll as that? Pointing to Adele. Where'd you pick her up? Why'd I pick her up? She was left in my hands. You should have sent her to school. I could not afford it. Schools are so dear. Why? I suppose you have a governess for her. I saw a person with her just now. Is she gone? Oh, no, there she is still, behind the window curtain. She's literally hiding behind a curtain. You pay her, of course, and I should think it quite expensive, more so, for you have them both to keep in addition. I feared, or should I say hoped, the allusion to me would make Mr. Rochester glance my way, and I involuntarily shrank further into the shade, but he never turned his eyes. I have not considered the subject, he said indifferently, looking straight before him. Now, you men never do consider economy or common sense. You should hear Mama on the chapter of a governess. Mary and I have had, I should think, a dozen, or at least in our day, half of them detestable and at least ridiculous, and all incubi, M-dash. Were they not, Mama? Did you speak, my own? The young lady thus claimed as the dowager's special property reiterated her question with an explanation. My dearest, don't mention governesses. The word makes me nervous. I have suffered a martyrdom from their incompetency and caprice. I thank heaven I have now done with them. Mrs. Dent here bent over the pious lady and whispered something in her ear, I suppose, from the answer elicited. It was a reminder that one of the anathematized race was present. Well, for people that don't know what anathematized means, it means to curse or condemn. Taint piss? No, tant piss? TANTPIS, exclamation point, said her ladyship. I hope it may do her good. Then, in a lower tone, but still loud enough for me to hear, I noticed her. I am a judge of physiognomy, and in hers I see all the faults of her class. What are they, madam? Inquired Mr. Rochester aloud. Oh, I will tell you in private ear, replied she, wagging her turban 3 times with portentous significancy. But my curiosity will be past its appetite. It craves food now. Ask Blanche. She is nearer you than I. Oh, don't refer him to me, Mama. I have just one word to say of the whole tribe. They are a nuisance. Not that I ever suffered much from them. I took care to turn the tables. What tricks Theodore and I used to play at our Miss Wilsons and Miss Grays and Madame Joubert's. Mary was always too sleepy to join in a plot with the spirit. The best fun was with Madame Joubert. Miss Wilson was a poor sickly thing, lachrymose and low-spirited, not worth the trouble of vanquishing. In short, and Mrs. Gray was coarse and insensible. No blow took effect on her, but poor Madame Joubert. I see her yet in her raging passions, when we had driven her to extremities, spilt our tea, crumbled our bread and butter, and tossed our books up with the ceiling, and played chiviardi. For those of you who know what a chiviardi is, it's a noisy mock serenade performed by a group of people to celebrate a marriage or a mock unpopular person. With the ruler and desk, the fender of fire irons. Whatever. Theodore, do you remember those merry days? Yes, to be sure I do, and for the first time ever doing my yeses, that is YAAAS. To be sure I do, drawled Lord Ingram. And the poor old sick used to cry out, oh, you villainous childs. And then we sermonized her on the presumption of attempting to teach such clever blades as we were, when she was herself so ignorant. We did, and Tedu, you know, I helped you in prosecuting or persecuting your tutor. Way-faced Miss Vining, the person in the pip. I hate everything about this paragraph so far. As we used to call him, and he, Miss Wilson, took the liberty of falling in love with each other, at least tattoo. What's a tattoo? And I thought so. We surprised sundry tender glances and sighs as we interpreted as tokens of la belle passion. And I promise you in the public soon the benefit of our discovery. We employed it as a sort of lever to hoist our dead weights from the house. Dear Mama, there, as soon as we got an inkling of the business, found out that it was of a moral tendency. Did you not, my lady mother? Certainly, my best. And I was quite right. Depend on that. There are 1,000 reasons why liaisons between governesses and tutors should never be tolerated a moment in any well-regulated house. Firstly, oh, gracious Mama, spare us the enumeration. Orestes. We all know them. Danger, a bad example to innocence of childhood, distractions, and consequent neglect of duty on the part of the attached, mutual alliance and reliance, confidence, thence resulting insolence accompanying mutiny and general blow-up. Am I right, Baroness Ingram of Ingram Park? My lily flower, you are right now, as always. Then no more need be said. I'll change the subject. Amy Ashton, not hearing or not heeding this dictum, joined in with her soft, infantine tone. Louisa and I used to quiz our governess, too. She was such a good creature. She would bear anything. Nothing put her out. She was never cross with us, was she, Louisa? No, never. We might do what we pleased, ransack her desk, burp, and her work box, and turn her drawers inside out. And she was so good-natured, and she would give us anything we asked for. I suppose now, said Miss Ingram, curling her lip sarcastically, we should have an abstract of the memoirs of all the governesses extant in order to avert such a visitation. I again move the introduction to a new topic. Mr. Rochester, do you second my motion? Madam, I support you on this point as every other. Then on me as the onus of bringing it forward. Signor Eduardo, are you in voice tonight? Donna Bianca, if you command it, I will be. Then, Signor, I lay on you my sovereign behest to furbish up your lungs and other vocal organs, as they will be wanted on my royal service. Who will not be the Rizzo of so divine a Mary? A fig for Rizzo, cried she, tossing her head with its curls as she moved to the piano. It is my opinion that the fiddler David must have been an insipid sort of fellow, and I like Black Bothwell better. To my mind, a man is nothing without a spice of the devil in him. And history may say what it will of James Hepburn, and I have a notion that he was a sort of a wild, fierce bandit hero whom I could have consented to gift with my hand. My God, we're at 2 hours. Or 1 hour. Whatever. Gentlemen, it feels like 2 hours. Gentlemen, you hear? Now which of you most resembles Bothwell? Cried Mr. Rochester. And I should say the preference lies with you, responded Colonel Dent. On my honor, I am much obliged to you, was the reply. Miss Ingram, who had now seated herself with the proud grace at the piano, spreading out her snowy robes in a queenly amplitude, commenced a brilliant prelude. Talking, meantime, she appeared to be on her high horse tonight. Both her words and her air seemed intended to excite not only the admiration, but the amazement of her auditors. Oh, yeah, she was evidently bent on striking them as something very dashing and daring indeed. Oh, I am so sick of the young men of the present day, exclaimed she, rattling away at the instrument. Poor puny things, not fit to stir step beyond Papa's park gates, nor to even go so far as without Mama's permission and guardianship. I'm starting to resent the whole Mama and Papa thing. Creatures so absorbed in care without their pretty faces and their white hands and their small feet, as if a man had anything to do with beauty, as if loveliness were not the special prerogative of women, her legitimate appendage and heritage. I grant an ugly woman, in italics, is a blot on the fair face of creation, but as to the italics gentlemen, let them be solicitous to possess only strength and valor. Let their motto be M-, hunt, shoot, and fight. The rest is not worth a fillip. Such should be my device. Were I a man, whenever I marry, she continued after a pause which none interrupted, I am resolved my husband shall not be a rival, but a foil to me. I will suffer no competitor near the throne. I shall extract an undivided homage. His devotion shall not be shared between me and the shape he sees in the mirror. Mr. Rochester, now sing and I will play for you. I am all obedience, was the response. Oh my God, this chapter never ends. Here, then, is a Corsier's song. Know that I dote on Corsairs, and for that reason, sing it conspirato. Not looking it up, doesn't matter. Commands from Miss Ingram's lips would put spirit into a mug of milk and water. Take care, then. If you don't please me, I shall shame you by showing how such things should be done. That is the offering a premium on incapacity. I shall now endeavor to fail. God, this conversation will never end. Garadas vous in being. If you err willfully, I will devise a proportionate punishment. Miss Ingram ought to be clement, for she has it in her power to inflict chastisement beyond mortal endurance. Ha ha! Explain, commanded the lady. Pardon me, madam, no need of explanation, for your own fine sense must inform you that one of your frowns would be a sufficient substitute for capital punishment. Sing, said she, and again touching the piano, she commenced an accompaniment in spirited style. This chapter will never frickin' end. Every page I turn, I'm like, please be done. Now is my time to slip away, thought I, but the tones that then severed the air arrested me. Miss Fairfax had said that Mr. Rochester possessed a fine voice, and he did. A mellow, powerful bass, into which he threw his own feeling, his own force, finding a way through the ear to the heart, and there, walking sensationally, I waited till the last deep and full vibration had expired. God, my mouth is turning to mush. This thing goes on forever. It's been 1 hour and 6 minutes till the tide of the talk, checked in an instant, had resumed its flow. I then quitted my sheltered corner and made my exit by the side door, which was, fortunately, near. Thence a narrow passage led into a hall, and in crossing it I perceived my sandal was loose. Oh, I stopped to tie it, kneeling down for that purpose at the mat at the foot of the staircase, and I heard the dining room door unclose. A gentleman came out. Rising hastily, I stood face to face with him. It was Mr. Rochester. How do you do? He asked. I'm very well, sir. Why did you not come and speak to me in the room? I thought I might have retorted the question on him who put it, but I would not take that freedom. I answered, not wish to disturb you, as you seem engaged, sir. What do you have been doing during my absence? Nothing particular. Teaching Adele as usual, and getting a good deal paler as you were, as I saw at first sight. What is the matter? Nothing at all, sir. Did you take any cold that night you half drowned me? Not the least. Return to the drawing room you are deserting so early. I am tired, sir. He looked at me for a minute. And a little depressed, he said. What about? Tell me. Nothing, sir. I'm not depressed. But I affirm that you are. So much depressed that a few more words would bring tears to your eyes. Indeed, they are there now, shining and swimming, and a bead has slipped from the lash and fallen onto the flag. Oh, if I had time. Oh, fuck. I'm almost done with the book. I can see the end of the book. Can you leave? No, we don't need anything. Have you finished making up the bedroom? No, you're still making up the bedroom? It's a basement. There's no furniture. It's just wetness, a couple naked light bulbs, and a single bed. Go finish. How long does it take? Oh, you don't have thumbs. You can't put sheets on because you don't have thumbs. Just get out of here. I'm almost done. Except for the lash following the flag. If I had time and was not in mortal dread of some prating prig, not looking it up of a certain passing, I would know what all this means. Well, tonight I excuse you, but understand that so long as my visitors stay, I expect you to appear in the drawing room every evening. It's my wish. Don't neglect it. Now go and send Sophie for Adele. Good night, my M dash. He stopped, bit his lip, and abruptly left me. Oh, thank God that thing's finally done. Well, with that, let's give the cats time to make up your bedroom in the basement, the wet basement. And let's go to the smoking room, where I'm out of cigarettes, but I have snuff in the baboon skull. I'll tell you all about it. Let's get downstairs. Well, here you are, down here in the smoking room, where we can review what the hell we just read. Basically, the entire story. Why don't you help yourself to some snuff here in that ape skull? Oh, God, they had a baboon skull here on the coffee table. If you take off the top of his head, it's filled with snuff. What they used to do for nicotine before they had cigarettes, I guess. I don't know. I'm out of cigarettes. I got a lot of snuff, though, and that's my wife's birds. What is with this angry cat? You know, when you hire help from Merry Maids, and then also you get these cats in here, most of them are professional. They carry themselves with dignity, but this cat, you got this one cat that can't stop yelling at. I get it. Oh, Jesus Christ, it's got a gun. Oh, God, it's got a gun. I think the birds are making the cat go insane. Well, screw reviewing the story. Oh, Jesus. Well, just get the hell out of here. Okay, go down to your bedroom in the basement if you want to spend the night. I'm sure the cats are... Oh, okay, yep, they're shooting at the birds. Let's get the hell out of here. Well, it appears you found me in the part of the podcast I hate the most, where I tell you all about the places on the internet where you can find me. You can tell I hate this because of the sound effects making it sound like a stormy night in the drawing room of the damned. Now, there's that. Are you cool? I like cool people. It's the reason why I got involved in this business to begin with, just to meet cool people, not losers. So if you're cool, feel free to go over to my website, nuzzlehouse.com. That's where you can find pretty much everything we've ever done, like Gestating the Curious Mind, where my wife and I make paranormal smut, Masterpiece Auditorium, where my wife and I review horrible literature, and Two Books, One Cup, a sometimes D&D podcast, sometimes debate show podcast, with friends like Ben from Words About Books and Elton from Elton Reads a Book a Week. We also have a Patreon that's been under construction forever, so you can give us money to pay our bills. And since I think you might be cool, you can always just email me directly, glenn.nuzzles@gmail.com. But don't email if you're a nerdlinger or a dork. Now, back to business. I can't believe I drank all of them already. There's got to be one left.